Hey guys, it's Melissa. Happy Thursday. Today we are going to sketch and cut. So sort of like print, then cut. This time we're going to sketch and cut. So you can do this with any of the Silhouette CAMEO or Silhouette Portrait or even the Curio machines. With the Silhouette CAMEO 4 and the Plus, and then when the Pro comes out, same thing. Even though these machines have dual carriages, the right carriage is not usable for the standard tools like the pen and the ratchet and the blade, any of the cutting blades. So that means that you actually have to use the left carriage for everything. Okay, so that means you have to swap your tools. If you have a CAMEO 3 or a dual tool machine, you can do this without switching your machine, without switching your tools. But I'm going to show you on the CAMEO 4 today so you can see exactly how this goes. And I'm going to follow it up. I have a blog post coming, so if you're interested in this, look for the blog post in the next couple of days. I think it's scheduled for next week. Okay? All right, so what we are going to do, we are going to make this card just like this. So the card was first sketched. You can see I have a single line design there. These are, if you're doing sketch designs, you can use any design that you have in your software. Just know though that it's going to sketch exactly as it would cut. So if you have fonts that are doing the outline, that's how it's going to sketch. This is a specific single line font that was used in this design. And if you're interested, you guys want them, I can throw the links up for the designs as well. They are from some We Are Memory Keeper sets. Here's a couple of other ones that I did as well, okay? So I'm going to show you how this is done. So I have it all set up in Silhouette Studio. We are going to, I recommend first sketching, then cutting. So get your paper. I'm using precision cardstock. It's a American Crafts paper, which I love. It's colored all the way through, which means that when it cuts, you don't get like a white core. Okay, so I'm just taping at the top and on the side so that my paper stays in place while I'm sketching and cutting. Okay, all right, and then I am going to, let's smooth this up here. These are the pens I'm using, but I'm just going to use the black one today. So I'm going to load this in like normal. Okay, and we're going to sketch first. So I'm going to swap out my blade for a pen. Now, how does this happen to me? Everything is here, and then until it's not. It's always on the floor. I'm telling you, stuff, I know I'm not the only one. I see you guys posting the same stuff in your groups. You're looking for whatever it is, the dot of your eye or whatever, and it's on your forehead. My stuff is always on the floor. So what I'm doing here, because I'm using these American Crafts pens, these are the cutting machine pens. You can get the adapters for them. It says that you should use the A adapter for Silhouette, but for CAMEO 4, because the tool carriage changed, you want to use D. Okay, you want to use the tool adapter D. If you're using any of the other Silhouette machines, not a CAMEO 4, you're going to use A. Okay, so I'm going to place this into my left tool carriage, okay, and lock it in. It doesn't have the teeth, but you can still lock it just fine. Okay, and then from Silhouette Studio, I'm using cut or draw or action by line color. So what you can see is that I have my design here. This part is the black line. It's going to sketch first. When it's done, I'm going to swap my cut lines, and then the red area, which is the card itself, is going to cut, okay? But in between, I have to switch my tools, okay? All right, so that's what we're gonna do. First, we are going to sketch, and then we are going to cut. So let's watch this sketch. Here, let's see, it's all set up and ready to go, okay? Now, one thing that I want to point out is when you are sketching, your pen, you're going to notice this. I'm going to bring you closer so you can see. Your pen is going to pause at the very end of the sketch, which you'll see what it does. It leaves a little mark of ink, a bleed mark of ink, okay? And so what I do is I put a little line, and you're going to see this after this sketches. I put a little line somewhere outside of my work area I put that after I bring my design in, and that way the line is the last thing to be sketched, and so when the machine pauses at the very end, the pool of ink by the pen is on that line and it's not on my design, and I get this perfectly sketched design without having a pool of ink somewhere. So you're gonna see that happen here in a minute. And in Silhouette Studio, I don't know if you can see this in Silhouette Studio, it doesn't look like you can, but I have this little line way outside of my work area, okay? So let's watch this, okay? And I intentionally put my, I placed this so that it would cut off a little bit, okay? I want it, that's strategic that I did that. So what's gonna happen is it's cutting the entire, it's sketching the whole design, but then when it comes to cut, it's going to just trim it a little bit. Now, I want you to watch where this, the pen goes at the very end. It's gonna come down here and it's gonna do a little line. And you'll see what I mean with that pause, okay? Okay, see it's pausing? Now, you're not gonna be able to see it yet, but after we cut, I'm gonna show you. This line down here is not gonna be part of my card, but there's a little spot here where the ink has pooled because the pen has paused there. All right, after the sketching, I now need to swap out my tools. So in Silhouette Studio, I'm just in the send panel, I'm turning off those black cut lines and I'm turning on my red cut lines, putting in my blade, and now I'm gonna send this again. And this time it is going to cut. It's gonna cut in the shape of my card, okay? So now it's doing the perforation line. And to be honest, I cheated here and I used one of the Silhouette, what do they call them? They already have it like pre-made for you. It's kind of it's not a design, it's like a template. I forget what it's called, the quick project or whatever. And I just pulled the card design from there. So it has this, it does do a perforation line. If you prefer a score line, you can add just a solid line and tell it that you want it to score. And that way it will score, but it won't cut all the way through, okay? All right, so now, do you see how it's cut off my design? That's strategic there. Okay, once this is done, I'm going to show you that little extra line and why it's so important for when I'm using sketch pens, because this happens all the time. Okay, and again, this is precision cardstock from American Crafts. I'm using a blade of 5, force 33, speed 4, and 2 passes. So blade 5, force 33, speed 4, 2 passes. Okay, and it pops right off. So we're all done with that. And okay, so before you go, I'm gonna show, I want you to see the card, obviously. Okay, so here's my card. Just gonna fold in half, okay? And it is beautifully sketched, okay? Now, this is my paper, and you can see this is that little line. Where are you? This is the little line that I was telling you I add extra. Do you see how on that one end, oh geez, this is like being a weather person where it's all backwards. Do you see how it's a pool there? If you don't do that, it ends up on your design somewhere. And on this design, it ends up on this little line. And so you end up with a blotch right there, which is why this down here is far better. And it's just outside my work area, okay? And then, like I said, I just had intended for my card shape to cut off just because I wanted it to look like it filled that whole space. Okay? All right, so can we all give an amen that a Facebook Live went on without a hitch? That is wonderful, especially when I only got to do one this week. So if you're interested in learning how to sketch and cut, you can do it with all the machines. Like I said, the Cameo 4 makes it a little bit more challenging, but if you use cut by line color, sketch by line color, it's easy to just swap in between, okay? And a blog post is coming, it's written, it's all ready to go. It's just scheduled. You know what scheduled means? It means Melissa is a little bit ahead. Yay! It's a rarity these days. But we've got blog posts coming on Sketch. If you're interested in the designs, like I said, these are specifically single line designs, so you don't get the whole outline of a font or whatever if you're using that. And I can I can throw the link up there for those if you're interested in those as well, okay? And you can use your single line designs for, you know, foil quill, sketching. They don't work super well to cut unless you put an offset around them, which would create the outline, okay? You can use them for a scorch pen. You can use them a bunch of different ways. You can actually change the line style to rhinestones. It's a really great way. If you take a single line font and change it to rhinestone, you can use that as a single line rhinestone, which is fun, and some people are looking for that instead of a rhinestone text type of outline. So anyway, I'm rambling now. Okay guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.